Charlie's Toolbox. Now, I have a lot of tools, and among my collection, I have a lot of tools that are kind of old. And the reason I keep them around is because they belong to other people who have passed away over the years, yet they influenced me in some way over my lifetime. The way I see it, using such tools that belong to them means I haven't forgotten about them or the ways they influenced me in positive ways. They are a reminder to me. I have, for example, a chisel and a metal square that belonged to a brother of mine who passed away. I also have here a pitchfork. A pitchfork that belonged to a beloved parishioner. Take the photo. It isn't the best, as you can see, but I saw it at the yard sale when they sold the farm, and I figured that I could use a pitchfork with a long handle. And so I got that. I also have a couple of threaded rod gizmos here to make a reel from a beloved mentor of mine from my earlier days. I also have a fishing rod that belonged to a beloved family member. And in using all of these items, I'm reminded of those who have gone ahead of me to their great reward and the good things that they taught me. And I give thanks for them in my life. I'm reminded of them by these things. And yes, they are all gone now, from earth anyway, and they are part of what are considered to be the saints. Now, you might be asking yourself, what are saints? What do I mean by that? Well, a definition I like is that saints are people who know and admit that they are sinners and in need of God's forgiveness. And when we look at it that way, the term doesn't just apply to those who have already died, but also to those still alive and who fit that definition. St. Paul, in fact, often used the term saints to describe people who were still living. Now, on the first Sunday of November, we celebrate something called All Saints Sunday. And most of the time, we take that time to remember those who have died and how they spiritually helped us in our lives. One of the lessons to describe All Saints Sunday comes from Hebrews 12, 1-2, where St. Paul wrote to remind us that we are not alone, and how the saints in heaven cheer us on as we still struggle on earth. I like that image. The image that when I'm having a difficult time being a Christian, there are those I remember who are cheering me on, and that we are not alone. These people encourage me to keep going, to keep my faith, and never let up showing others what God's love looks like. Of course, that applies to the living saints on earth as well. They also cheer us on and encourage us to keep going. On All Saints, then, we don't just remember people who have died, but we also remind ourselves that as we do God's work on earth, we may also be considered saints. And that means that even I can be considered a saint.